Today I want to show you a little bit about my track Alone, which is part of my album Trashworld. In this case it's a Cubase project which I sometimes work in. I don't really have a preference in which DAW I work. Sometimes I work in Ableton Live, sometimes I work in Cubase. It depends on the day and my mood, but in this case I just worked in Cubase, and that is why we just have a look. When you just look at the project, you see that I have those kind of folders on top where I should usually put all the elements in, but I'm usually too lazy to do that, which is kind of weird because this should help me, to just get along with the project. But sometimes I'm just in the moment and I want to move on and don't care about those kind of things because I want to be creative. This is why I usually try to roll out a track within a day or something like that. And with rollout, I mean, I try to make like 32 bars and maybe a little intro. This is enough for me to play it out and see if this track has potential to keep on working on it or not. My projects are usually built the same because I always use the same template. For this project it's a little bit different, but usually it's like I have a low group, I have a top group, and I have a pre-master. In this case I also have a top low, and I have a sidechain track for the kick and for the snare. And I mean, if you just listen to the sidechain, it's usually a serum with a very short click. Why? Because I have more control over the sidechain later on. The lower group is for elements that cover basses, mid sounds, and all that kind of stuff. And the top group cover atmospheres, pads, leads, hi-hats, all that kind of stuff. The only kind of thing is that my drums are going to the pre-master directly. So they're left out, obviously, because I don't want to sidechain them. I just want to open windows for the kick and the snare to just shine. On the master, I usually have nothing but a clipper and a limiter. In this case, I've got a equalizer. It's pretty funny because on that one, I just put stuff away, and on the following one, I put it back in. So it's kind of weird. The fun thing is when I just compare the mixes, it really sounds better and it makes a difference. But I mean, logically, it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, let's move on. And if you just look at the project, it's not that much tracks. I've got like 54 tracks, individual tracks, which is not that much. I mean, I can remember I just had like 350 individual tracks for some final versions. I usually tend to not have that much tracks anymore. Sometimes I think it has to do with the fact that I want to cover something which isn't there and another sound can't deliver, and that is why I just add more and more and more, and it doesn't really help. It just introduces more problems. So you should find convincing sounds for your mix, and they should work together well. It's so easy, well said, but it's difficult, I know, and it needs experience to just work on that and find out. It's usually like that. I just solo a kick, and then you can hear it sounds weird alone, and in the mix it sounds right. I mean, it's the same for that kick, if I just listen to that kick, it sounds not really great. Does not really sound great, to be honest, on its own. In the context, it's exactly the kind of kick I was looking for. Pretty much everything is done in Serum, and it's no magic, really. It's not like that I've done something really outstanding or like tricky modulation or whatever. There's this acid line I have here, and I mean, I just try to separate sounds, and just try to position them in the stereo field, which is something you hear all the time, but what does it really mean? I try to make contrast, between mono sounds and stereo sounds. if everything is stereo, nothing is stereo. That's a basic rule. And if everything is mono, everything is mono. It's so simple, but that's how it is. And if you have a mono sound and make a stereo sound afterwards, the stereo sound sounds even wider because you introduced something mono before. Also, what helps is that I don't have a sidechain in that break, which makes it like big, because it's not suppressed by something else, you know. The vocal, I think that's something it's a text-to-speech machine from the internet.
Follow me. Follow.
It sounds great, you know, with that, it sets that vibe together with that virus pad. I just, and with virus pad, I actually mean the synth. Little story, because the virus was one of my first synths I ever bought. I learned how to synthesize kick, snares, hi-hats, bass sounds, lead sounds, pad sounds, you know, everything, you know, and that was all I had. This helped a lot for my whole career, because, I mean, the principles of synthesis, you know, in other synths, like in Serum, it's always the same. Therefore, that helped a lot, and I can only advise to you, if you just synthesize your own sound, that really helps defining your own sound, and that's really important, in my opinion. That's it for this one. Stay trashy. See you next time.
Follow me.